What is going on, guys? Awp here. We are back for another episode of Tekken Community Podcast. We got some familiar faces back here and a brand new face. You can introduce yourselves as you like.
Hi, this is Synclair here. I'm an independent R&B artist and gamer. You can find me on Twitter at Synclair West. Check me out.
What's up, everyone? I'm Arsenalty. I'm a European Tekken player. You probably know me from YouTube. I'm just here to get good at the game and have fun, so...
Alright, I'm Tekkenismyworld here. Some of you Tekken fans should already know me right now. Not only do I love Tekken, but I love sports as well. I talk about it a lot. I like to give my certain opinions on stuff, not like everything. My Twitter is Tekkenismyworld, and my Instagram is Dragwire1995.
Excellent. The first topic that we're going to talk about today is going to be a fan favorite, if I should call it that. Tekken mechanics. What is your favorite Tekken mechanic in Tekken? Well, honestly, you can only choose one because there's only one Tekken mechanic in Tekken, and her name is Kunimitsu, the Maji clan member who was kicked out of the clan for stealing stuff that had already been stolen, and she went back to being an air conditioner unit mechanic. I think this character is really underutilized in Tekken because she left at Tekken 2, she only came back in the tag games, so where is this interesting character? What do you guys think?
I'm thinking she'll be back with Raven. Hope, just like in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I hope they do something with that. Because honestly, I feel that Raven's involvement, that would just further develop Kunimitsu. You know what I mean? Raven having Kunimitsu work in the same agency as himself, or him recruiting her, and her getting like a new Raven-like redesign. You know, even though she'll still have her fox mask and everything, and her trademark, but something that'll indicate that she works for the same agency as Raven. I think that will do good for Kunimitsu at this point, story-wise.
So you totally think she's going to be in cahoots with Raven and actually working with him rather than Yoshimitsu working for whatever organization he belongs to?
Correct. There's no point in her really dealing with Yoshimitsu at this point. I'm thinking they should really take Kunimitsu into a new direction,
Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure where Kunimitsu is right now. I'm quite surprised that the Tekken team decided to kind of boot her out of Tekken in Tekken 2 because she's quite a unique, interesting character. So there's no reason for her not to be in the game, really, other than maybe her character popularity is not very high. So I think they're just trying to kill her off or something, trying to make her go missing like Jun or something like that.
I have no idea where Kunimitsu is at, but I have heard something about that. She might be attacked by Ogre, and that's what I saw somewhere. I have no idea, but in terms of where she might be, it's hard to tell. Like Sinclair said, she could be with Raven in his secret company or something. There must be a good reason why she's missing. I have no idea, but I think this is a bad idea for Harada and the Namco team to not have her on Tekken for a long time. I have no idea where she could be.
So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the Tekken Theory and Lore, we'll put an annotation up on the screen right now because I did some research on her masks and the marks on her face and whatnot, and discovered that she actually might be what's called a yokai, the Japanese word for demon. And she might be possessed by a demon, which now makes her a demon as well. So the original Kunimitsu might have just been, a plain old Japanese woman who had skills as a mechanic, which is where this whole mechanic thing came from. And demons in yokai lore, when they take possession of a person's body, sometimes what they do is they just go about that person's normal life, or just do things that humans normally do, and just try to fit in with society. Maybe not even to do anything specific, maybe not to do anything wrong, but to just be an everyday person, but they're still a demon underneath. This particular yokai was a fox demon, and the fox demon will have the personality of stealing things and playing tricks on humans. This is essentially what happens when you possess Kunimitsu and become a ninja. You steal things and you play tricks on humans. Well, she started trying to play tricks on the Maji clan, stealing from their funding, which was ironically also stolen, which actually got her kicked out of the clan, which made her want to go back to being an AC unit mechanic. So, she's not in Tekken 3, she's not in Tekken 4, she's not in Tekken 5, she's not in Tekken 6. Here's Tekken 7. We still got no Kunimitsu. All we got is Tekken Tag Tournament Kunimitsu. The mask changed a little bit. It's still different yokai masks saying that, she still might be possessed by a demon or maybe a different demon, but I think the whole thing is based around her being possessed by the fox spirit because those characteristics are unique to that particular yokai. I think she deserves to be in the story because there's no reason for her really to be gone. I mean, is she really having a life of just fixing air conditioners? What do you think?
The story for Kunimitsu is really good, and I think Harada and the Tekken team actually made quite a deep, interesting lore around her. But I think that when you really look at it, it might be down to the character usage, how much people in the community actually use the character, and it might actually be quite low. So I think that's a factor for characters being in the game. I mean, even though she's got a very good story, she might not be in the game because of the character usage. And I mean, the same might be applied for Jun. I'm not sure if her character usage is low, but popularity is quite a big factor.
Yeah, I believe Harada was saying something about different characters being in, I think it was Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and he's like, we'll consider putting these characters in the game if the community gives us feedback and says that they want these characters back, and then they just ended up putting in the game. I believe that was for Tekken Tag Tournament 2, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because I get so confused about Tekken Tag Tournament 2 because every character's in that game with the exception of Tetsujin and Gon.
It is interesting.
Well, the next topic was brought up by London a while ago. Why don't you tell us a little about the story of how you asked the question to Markman on Tekken Talk?
Yeah, I asked him about what's the Mishima that's most likely to die. Now I'm switching up to what's the least likely to die. That's what I brought up.
So what do you guys think? Is there a character that is going to die if they're a Mishima? And if so, what character's probably safe from dying?
I think the only one that would be safe would be Lars, because he's the only one who hasn't killed anyone innocent. Innocent lives haven't been taken away by his hands. Unlike Heihachi, Kazuya, or Jin, who starting their wars and everything. Lars is the only one who is clear from that, and the only one with a clear conscience, to be honest. The main Mishimas, Kazuya, Heihachi, and Jin, all have blood on their hands, and I think the fate of retribution is against all three of them for that.
I think that Jin and Lars are probably the most safe, not because I made them, but because Jin is so popular in Tekken. He's probably one of the most popular characters in the game, and like I said before, popularity is a huge factor for kind of keeping characters in the game. I'm not sure if Heihachi and Kazuya will be in Tekken 8 if they die, but I think those are the most likely to die, Heihachi and Kazuya. And maybe, I know it might not be counted as a separate character, but Devil Jin, I think he's going to die kind of in Tekken 7. Jin's going to lose his curse, if you know what I mean, in that kind of way.
Yeah, because that whole Mishima saga is coming to an end, so maybe that whole Devil Gene thing is coming to an end too.
Yep.
Yeah, so it could be something to do with the Devil Gene, the Mishima bloodline ending or something, but I'm not sure.
I think what's the least likely to die, it's either Lars or Jin. And even though Lars doesn't really act like a Mishima and he's still got, the Mishima blood, I wouldn't be surprised if he did die, though, because in my opinion, not a lot of people care too much about him. I mean, he is kind of popular, whatever. Jin's, I think Jin or Kazuya is the most popular out of all of them. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jin died either, but it will be kind of messed up if he did die, in my opinion, because he's the main character in the series, in my opinion. But when it comes to popularity and storyline wise, I think Lars and Jin's the most likely to die. When it comes to most likely to die, I think it's Heihachi, hands down. Kazuya, he could die, but I hope he doesn't. I don't know if he's coming back in Tekken 8. I don't know, but it's just too hard to tell.
Basically, anybody who's, in my opinion, in Akuma's way, or anybody who Akuma wants to kill, I think they're the ones that are most likely to die. And you can see on the Tekken 7 Fated Retribution posters, they're kind of showing that it's Heihachi versus Akuma. There's no Kazuya in these advertisements, so I think Heihachi most likely to die, and Kazuya's got a big chance of dying just because Akuma's coming for them.
I think a little bit differently on the subject. I think in terms of who's already experienced death in the story before. I mean, Kazumi's already supposed to be dead. Heihachi has, almost died a couple of times, just being exploded by all the jacks, and he wasn't supposed to be in Tekken 5, but they put him in anyway, non-canonically, just so he could be in the game.
Yeah.
Kazuya's already died and come back from the grave due to science. You think about who hasn't experienced death yet, and that is Jin. So I think in kind of a twist, because Jin has not died, I mean, he was shot in the head by Heihachi, and then he just instantly got back up as the devil form, but that wasn't like death. I think that was just like, hey, I got shot, now I'm in the devil form, now I'm gonna throw you through this brick wall with my hand from the top of your head. And so what if in this interesting twist of events, Jin is the one who dies? So I think he's probably on my list for the most likely to die, because nobody expects it. I mean, out of all you guys, no one said, hey, Jin's gonna die.
Yeah.
Least likely to die. It's probably gonna be someone who's already died, someone furthest away from death who would just come back pissed off anyway. And that would probably be Kazuya himself, because he's already experienced it. That just pissed him off. He came right back, and he's probably not gonna even be touched in this whole thing.
Jin's death will be a big shock factor. But I think in a way they'll kind of make him a tragic hero in a sense, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be Kazuya extracting the devil form from the dying Jin to go up and face Akuma. In that case, both Heihachi and Jin would be dead.
Interesting.
I wouldn't say that Jin would die completely.
Who dies completely in Tekken?
I'm just saying that. If Kazuya does take his devil gene, I'm thinking like there might be somewhat similar to like Kazama powered or angel powered stuff that could bring back Jin. He's not going to be written off completely because he's too popular.
It would cause an uproar.
He'll die with the devil gene, and then he'll be brought back as a Kazama Essence character. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, I see what you mean, London.
Did Jin not die in Tekken 6?
No.
He was unconscious.
No, not die, but he supposedly, fell into that pit with Azazel, and it was, Lars was sad or whatever.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a resurrection kind of thing? What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, it happened, like, within the next scene. Jin falls down the hole with Azazel. The game ends on Raven finding, like, oh, damn, this dude's still alive. And then they go on to the next part. So, I mean, I guess he does come to, a mystery kind of, like, is this guy dead? But it was so instantly solved, I guess I didn't really count it.
True.
Whereas Heihachi dies at or supposedly dies at the beginning of the game. And even though he's in the game, like I said, that's non-canonical. So technically, you don't find out that he's actually alive until Tekken 6. Where he's like, oh, I just woke up. What happened? Oh, yeah, they had a tournament, and now we're on the next tournament. What? How long have I been asleep?
Stupid.
Who didn't wake me up?
Stupid story.
I'm late to the party.
Rubbish story.
Yeah, so that actually took a whole game, whereas Jin's only took a scene or two, however that actually worked.
Wasn't Heihachi fighting Raven in the 5th tournament?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah. Because remember, if you go to Raven's intro story in Tekken 6, it shows him with Heihachi, doesn't it?
Every interaction with Heihachi is totally not canon in Tekken 5.
That's what would happen.
No, but I'm saying it in Tekken 6, like Raven's intro in Tekken 6.
Yeah, that's his prologue. That's what I mean.
I'll have to go back and look at that or put it up on screen now, but that's an interesting thing. Who brought up Lucky Chloe being a Mishima earlier?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Who said that?
That was me, sorry.
Okay, so Arsenalty brought up that Lucky Chloe's story is shrouded in, well, not really mystery, but more like nothingness, because there is no story there. She's just a J-pop chick with these headphones and whatnot. So what could be her story? And this guy is crazier than me, because he's like, yeah, she could be a Mishima. What?
What?
I'd just love to see the rage on the internet, to be honest. That would just be good enough for me.
She's got no electric wing god fist.
Kazumi doesn't have an electric wing god fist.
She has a tiger uppercut. She doesn't need it.
Yeah.
I got you there.
And she has devil form too.
Which looks like a geisha on crack once again.
And technically, she's not even really a Mishima. She's Heihachi's wife, so she was never a Mishima to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Devil form needs some work for Fated Retribution. I'm sorry. They need to do something with her devil form. I mean,
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not really a big fan of it.
Hopefully they'll update it.
Maybe. I think the textures look a little flat, like with the wings, and the design is thoughtful. You know, that she's dressed like a geisha, because from the beginning she's dressed like a geisha anyway, so now she looks kind of like a demonic geisha. Maybe she's possessed by a yokai or something like that. But I think the face and everything and the clothing is alright, but the whole thing looks a little bit too crazy as compared to what the Devil Gene does to other people who are Mishima. So because it's not the same, because it's not pure demonic, it's more like some unique design that somebody just drew down on a piece of paper and they said, yeah, we'll go with that. I think it needs to be changed slightly to more resemble an actual demon rather than just fan art.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, like Kazuya and Jin in Blood Vengeance. Like that. Something like a female version of that. You know what I mean? Kazuya's was kind of scary. I'm going to be honest with
you. She would actually look like a succubus with her boobs hanging out.
Oh my gosh.
Because if you're talking about a pure demon that's a woman, it would just be a purple woman with her boobs just hanging out and a long tail.
Oh my gosh. I don't think they're going with that anyway, though.
I don't know. Maybe she's got something else going on under all those clothes in her demon form.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I personally like the stage that Kazumi is on, which brings us into the next topic. What are your opinions about the current stages in Tekken 7, and what type of stages do you want to see as Tekken gets updated in the future?
I'm going to be honest with you. The only stages I do somewhat like happen to be the Twilight Conflict in Tekken 7 Vanilla, and the underground of the abandoned, the Forgotten Realm or something like that. The type of stages that I really would like to see. And the thing is, I've already sent some of these ideas to Harada, Markman, and I even sent some to Avoiding the Puddle. One of them will be an underground nightclub in case Lee Chaolan returns as himself or Violet. And you notice in those type of movies, they have some type of underground thing going on. And I'm thinking with Lee Chaolan, that would be nothing different. That he will have like some type of underground refuge to get people's minds off of what's going on. The glowing beach. And I'm thinking this would do really good for the cowboy characters such as Eddie Gordo and Christy Montero. It should be set up, I mean, as far as like interaction-wise, is how it was in Tekken 4, where you could fight on the sand. And then also we have the abandoned chapel for Nina. Of course, you see that she's in a wedding dress, and I'm thinking this would fit well with that.
Yeah, these are a lot of good ideas. As I was saying before, Devil's Pit is a interesting stage, as Arsenalty mentioned to me earlier. It starts as a walled stage, and the thing is about Tekken is I want a stage that doesn't always stay the same. The background and everything is one thing, but I mean, some players and some characters do a lot better on stages with walls, and people do better on stages without walls, and I would like a best of both worlds kind of level where it starts out one way and then transitions into another. One idea I had a long time ago was basically the same thing, but it starts out in a building. Okay, you start out and then maybe 2 or 3 rounds down the road, a comet hits, and then all of a sudden you realize you're in the desert. Now this is a really out there kind of idea, but hey, you're in the desert. And then all of a sudden it's an infinite stage. Okay, so the building's knocked down, nothing's around you anymore, because maybe this was like a secret location for, I don't know, Raven's organization or something. Now you just have an infinite stage just like that. And then the other idea I had was maybe you start out in the desert and there's no walls, and then 2 or 3 rounds down the road, it's kind of Street Fighter inspired. RVs and lowriders and whatnot just come from out of nowhere and surround you in a circle, creating walls. And then there's people cheering and throwing beer cans and stuff at you. I think that would be an interesting idea.
Sounds like something Dead or Alive would do, but it's really nice. I like the idea.
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
Basically, I think that I don't really want anything specific, but I'd like different kind of music in the stages. Like, I feel like in the current Tekken 7, the stages kind of have a dubstep kind of soundtrack to them, and I liked Tekken when it had quite a wide range variety of music, and I think that the Tekken team, they are working on that, because the new stage in Tekken 7 Fated Retribution, I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of, I don't know the style of music, but it's not dubstep, so I like that. Even though I do like the current soundtrack for Tekken 7, I'd like them to mix it up a little bit, because that's what everybody likes. Yeah, I would like Levolution as well in the levels. I think that, in the stages, sorry. I think that the Dragon's Nest, I think that is really nice, especially with the new graphics and lighting in Fated Retribution. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah, they have a day to night cycle on that stage, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, it looks really good, and I like where they're going with the soundtrack changing as well for the final round. I think that's really hype. I think that's, really good. But yeah, haven't really got many complaints. I think that they should bring back maybe one old stage, one classic stage, but keep it fresh. Keep most of them new. You know what I mean? But a little throwback would be nice, like Moonlit Wilderness or something.
The Wolves in the Forest stage from Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really good, but I think this is a completely new game. We need to kind of move on. There were really good stages, but I think the Tekken team, they're so talented, they can make even better ones for Tekken 7. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for new.
But they should definitely have a creepy abandoned theme park. They really should.
Why?
For Zayu's sake, you know what I mean? Like an abandoned, just like some creepy, like with some creepy clowns and stuff like that. I mean,
Heihachi Land.
Yeah, exactly. But like after kind of foggy and stuff like that, like on a cloudy day and stuff like that, and then on the third stage it'll be raining and stuff like that, and you just have these clowns come up, like these clowns that have the Heihachi hairstyle come up from behind you. Blah. I mean, like
No, what would be awesome if it starts out as Xiao Yu Land, and then 2 or 3 rounds into it, the signs fall down, and then it turns into Heihachi Land.
Oh my god, these ideas are crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
I don't have too much ideas, but I would suggest that what needs to be put in Tekken 7 is that I don't know if Jin's gonna be I don't know if he's really gonna be a boss in the game, but if he is, I think they should give him this gothic type stage, since he's looking like an emo-ish whatever. I think they should give him this gothic like dojo stage for him. Like it should be fresh and cool and stuff. The second stage I like to see, since I'm a huge sports fan, I like to see this football stage where it's kind of like this Batman movie where some villain is coming out with a half mask on.
Oh, you're talking about Bane.
Yeah, where it's all collapsing and stuff. That's what I kind of like to see. Apocalypse time, where Heihachi is like blowing up stuff now for the fact that he's the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu in Tekken 7. For those of you that haven't heard, Harada has confirmed it. The third one I like to say is I like to see more stages that are rock music themed to it, since I'm a huge fan of rock music. Personally, I'm not really a huge fan of the dubstep thing going on. I hate the Tekken Tag 2 soundtrack. I just hate it. That's just me. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, what do you think of the Lars Tekken theme? His specific soundtrack on that Twilight Conflict stage?
I think it's all right. It's not too bad, but
I
just can't stand the Tekken Tag 2 soundtrack. I think they need to make it sound more like back in the Tekken 3 days, because in my opinion Tekken 3 had the best soundtrack in the series. I really like Tekken 4 soundtrack.
Hey, was Tekken 3 the last time they did 2 sets of soundtracks? Because they did a arcade soundtrack, and then they did a console soundtrack, and the songs were completely different in most places.
I've never heard of an arcade and console soundtrack since.
They did it with Tekken Tag Tournament. They
They did.
Tekken Tag 1.
I'll just shut up.
Tekken Tag 1, my favorite stage is the Chinatown stage, Lei Wulong stage, but it takes place at night. Dun, dun.
I know you're not about to sit here and sing the damn song. You got Smooth McGroove over here, guys.
For Tekken Tag 2, I ended up changing a lot of the music in there. I agree with London when it comes to the Tekken Tag 2 soundtrack. I ended up using a lot of my own collection of music for those instead, as you can see from my videos. Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection has the best soundtrack in my opinion.
It is really good though, but it's not the best in my opinion. I mean, Tekken Dark Resurrection is my second favorite Tekken game. Tekken 3 is just the best for me.
It does have some pretty good music though, Tekken 3.
Tekken 7 on console will be the most complete version on PS4, according to Harada. Arsenalty brought this up a little bit earlier. Apparently, who did you say? Michael Murray brought this up as well?
Yeah, in an interview, I think.
They have tons of interviews that I also haven't seen,
Yeah.
so it's possible that they've said it multiple times, and a lot of people ask the same questions. Right now, we're in Tekken 7 Faded Retribution, which actually hasn't been released yet, but we can see, what it's going to be like. There's probably going to be a lot of dramatic changes from Tekken 7 FR, because if it's going to be really, really complete on PS4, especially with PlayStation VR, I mean, how much stuff could possibly change from Faded Retribution to console?
Well, I think that for the console release, they're going to take advantage of the fact that Street Fighter completely failed to produce a full game at launch. So they're going to include loads of modes. I think they're going to include extra modes like Tekken Ball and other stuff, something to do with VR. And I think that they're going to have a very deep tutorial mode, but we'll talk about that later. I'm not sure about gameplay, if they'll add new mechanics, because he did say it's going to change drastically, but I think he's just saying that for effect. So I think they're going to keep the gameplay similar to what it is right now, but just with a few extra tweaks like stages and soundtracks and whatnot.
Do you think we might get something like the scenario campaign in Tekken 6?
I don't think so, because I'm not sure. Was it well received by the community scenario campaign? Because I thought it was just awful. I thought it was terrible.
I hated scenario campaign. It just
terrible.
It just
Yeah,
bugged the hell out of me.
I don't think they're going to do that again. They might have realised that this time they're going to do the story. Because actually, I just realised they did say they're going to do the story in a very different way to how it's been done before. So I don't think scenario campaign is going to exist.
I think it did just fine as Devil Within mode in Tekken 5. So I don't think we need a whole story mode just like that. I think if you're going to have a fun mode on the side, make, let's call it Devil Within mode instead of scenario campaign mode. Have a Devil Within mode with whatever kind of characters you want to play with. Make it co-op and make it short just for fun, not required for any of the story elements. Just do it for fun. I think with the technology we have now, was it Unreal Engine 4, and the space that's available on a PlayStation 4 disc, I think you can fit something like that into there just for the sake of saying, hey, something extra. It's something that you probably want to play like once or twice, and if there's multiplayer on it, it's something that maybe you want to do a few times. In Tekken 6, the only reason you would play it multiplayer is to get the rewards that the enemies drop, and then sell those off, and then try to get the parts, the custom pieces that you want for your characters a lot faster. Tekken's not a game I feel like you need to grind, unless you're trying to just get better. But in terms of like getting things you actually want, customization items, I don't think that's totally necessary. If I wanted to grind, I would play a RPG. You know what I'm saying? This is a fighting game. We should have all the tools that we want right in front of us. Now, there should be rewards and all that, but I'm just saying, if you have a fun mode like Devil Within mode, keep it just like that. Don't make it the main attraction of the game, scenario campaign. I like that they put story elements into there, but there's a better way to tell those kinds of stories.
Like, they should turn it back into a side scroller like it was in Tekken 3.
I actually think it was a lot more fun as Tekken Force mode.
Yeah. The scenario campaign in Tekken 6, at times it was I just cringed. I thought, this is terrible. When, Elisa is kind of dying, it's like, I just don't care. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid of it,
It's a robot. It's not going to die, okay?
Oh my god.
Maybe it was trying to teach us to be more sympathetic towards our electronics.
Stop falling in love with robots, okay? It's weird.
I mean, it's a robot. How can you fall for it?
Lars is pretty freaking sick. Look, if you want to look at Lars from that aspect, he's a pretty sick guy, man.
It is getting popular over there in Japan, so
Hey, remember that whole scene in Scenario Campaign where Lars is depressed about Elisa deactivating and Jin's like, good riddance?
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
You had to
Shout
respect
out to Jin.
gangster in that Scenario Campaign, man. Jin was the gangster, okay?
Does anybody have any idea what the PlayStation VR is actually going to be used for in terms of having a complete game? If they're going to be doing something completely brand new, like what could they possibly be doing with VR?
I was disappointed when I found out it's not going to be first-person fighting, because even though it's crazy, I just would find that so funny. It would be so funny just to electric a capo to the face. Sorry, it would be very funny to do that. But I think they're going to do what Rip suggested once. They're just going to have a kind of you can be a spectator of fights. I think that's one of the features that may make it.
I feel the whole VR thing is pointless, to be honest. I don't feel it's necessary to be implemented for this type of game.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick.
Yeah, I have no idea about this whole PlayStation VR thing. I mean, I have seen the trailer and all, but I just have no idea what it's about. That's just me.
Well, they have that other game that Harada's working on. What's it called? Teacher Lesson or at Summer School, I think.
Yeah.
Summer Lesson. There you go. Summer Lesson.
Oh yeah, that I remember that.
So I'm wondering if there's a game like Summer Lesson, is the idea maybe that we can interact with Tekken characters in its own mode, not in the creepy kind of way, which is exactly what Summer Lesson is supposed to be like, but culture is a lot different over there in Japan, so it's more acceptable. But anyway, I'm thinking maybe they might introduce, and I was thinking this a while back too, maybe they might introduce story elements through the VR system. Maybe you can only get certain elements from the story by, I don't know, talking to the characters and responding to the characters, by sitting next to them and talking or something like that. I'm thinking if I was going to do something with VR and I wanted to make it somewhat important, maybe that might be something they would do. I mean, it would be relatively easy to make. I mean, all you have to do is animate the character sitting down, talking to you, or maybe you're playing the part of some other character in some scene. Maybe it might put you in that scene. It might show you something in their past that they didn't show you in the actual story mode. Maybe you might go back through someone's flashback and find out why the hell Akuma is there, or maybe you play as Akuma. You can see how the hell he got here in the first place. That's just me. I'm just saying you might use VR to see from a certain character's eyes, and that might bring more things into the story.
Well, can you imagine, Kazuya calling you into his office and him just talking to you to death about what happened to him and how he has to go out to Heihachi, and you'll fall asleep during this conversation and everything like that, trying to stay awake.
If Kazuya's calling me into his office, that means my name is AwpWilliams, and that means I can look directly down at my chest. Considering this would be a Japanese-made VR segment.
It'll be kind of interesting talking to Bruce, though. You know what I mean? He'll probably talk to you about his gun collection, how he likes, how he likes certain types of ammo, and he'll tell you about his combat experience.
I can't really imagine what Kazuya would do if he called me to his office, even though I like Kazuya a lot. It's probably going to be pretty awkward what he's going to do. It's going to be pretty awkward.
He'll probably I don't know. He'll probably say I'm sharing some with you that I've never shared with anyone else. Don't tell anybody about this conversation.
I'm actually not Kazuya Mishima. He died. I took his place. I got a hair transplant. That's why it looks so awesome. My name is Vegeta, and I'm from the planet Vegeta, and I hate Kakarot.
What is going on?
Okay, so if we can get back on a more serious topic instead of playing around with characters in VR. Tekken tutorials! That is going to be the last topic that we're talking about today. Tekken tutorials in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 were simplified to this mode called Fight Lab. And for the most part, it works for people just coming into Tekken, but it doesn't show them enough, I think. So if Fight Lab or just Tekken tutorials in general can be improved in Tekken 7, how would you go about making the improvements yourself? Don't talk all at once.
The tutorials in Tekken, I think they need to kind of give players a chance to understand how deep the game can actually be. So kind of not bore people to death with frames, but give them a better understanding of what a high-level Tekken gameplay can kind of be like. So I'm not sure how they can do that, but they could have somebody with a voice actually telling the player what you can do in Tekken. And I think that for new players, I think combos are the biggest part. Like when you execute your first combo, it's very satisfying, and I think that's good for new players because it will keep them on the game. So I think it's vital for the tutorial to teach new players how to get a decent combo and not just launch the player and get a jab in that's rubbish. Just the tutorial needs to give them full high damage combos that are easy.
When you were talking about the voice just now, I was thinking in terms of who would be the voiceover telling you these different pro tips, and I was thinking Harada advertises different YouTubers and streamers on the Tekken website. These are our partners. These are the people that we support. And I was thinking, why not actually have them doing voiceovers in the game for the tutorial section? Why not have Rip, telling you, okay, so this is the section in Tekken 7 where I'm going to teach you how to block properly. And then the next section is Aris telling you how to block lows.
And you see, you could make it funny. You could make it entertaining, the tutorial, if you put someone like Aris on the mic. Imagine how funny that would be, getting taught Tekken by Aris or somebody similar. But the tutorial needs to be not boring and just very deep.
Simple. Have Poke Chop do the voiceover.
Poke Chop,
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be real long? You're like, oh, okay, new combo. Oh, there you go. Oh.
Scared.
Well, I think that's something I would actually tweet at Harada, actually. It's like, hey, for the tutorial section of Tekken 7, why not get actual, Tekken tournament players to do voiceovers and tell the players how to do the next section or the next move? I think that would be something to tell them. So I guess after this is done, I'll go actually tweet that at him. That's a good idea, Arsenalty. Arsenalty.
Yeah, but but Arsenalty, London, don't be surprised if he ends up having Lucky Chloe and Paul Phoenix do the voiceovers.
Oh, Lord.
Well, that would be good. At least it's a voice. That's all I'm asking for. And I know there's sample combos in the game, but, I want something more than that, basically. That's what I was saying.
I'll probably be getting a major headache if Lucky Chloe ends up doing them voiceovers, man. Oh my gosh.
She might. That's the thing. Harada loves Lucky Chloe, so she might. It's so possible. Yeah.
Maybe you could have your idea and have Lucky Chloe speaking to you on VR about how to play the game.
Oh God.
I mean, Paul Phoenix would be funny. He'd be like, "Yeah, that's how you do it."
Well, there's one thing I think, for example, when I have people over at my house, sometimes we play Tekken, and one thing is when we're fighting, they're always asking, how do I do this, how do I do that? But what I realize is the things that they're asking about are the things that no one ever teaches you. These are the things that you do in Tekken just by playing Tekken, that you learn by just playing Tekken. For example, everyone knows that if you reach a certain distance from the other character on the screen, you can run up to them and you can tackle them and knock them down. Or if you're at a slightly closer distance, you can tackle them and fall on top of them. And then from that position, you can start punching them. I have never seen any mention of this in any Tekken ever. Well, but it's a mechanic that always works like that.
Have you seen on Tekken Tag Tournament 2 there's a little bar at the bottom of the screen? It's a little information bar, like words slide across the screen very slowly. I know that's really rubbish, but I think there might be a little mention of something like that in there. I haven't seen it before. I can't remember if it is there, but it might be there.
I think that's more important since it happens really often.
Yeah.
In matches. So it's like, for example, if I'm just inviting people over to my house, do you think they're reading the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible. It's rubbish.
Right. Yeah. So if they're actually going to be interested in this game, like if I introduce them to the game, do you think they're going to say, hey, I read this while I was at your house, and I know how to do this exact thing? No. So the only way they know it is by playing through the game and getting their ass beat multiple times, and then eventually they find out, oh, I can do it this way. There's nothing in the game that's just flat out tell them, hey, get this distance from the other character, start punching them on the ground. I want things like that to be explained. I want things like how many times you can hit a guy in the air before, the maximum amount of times you can hit them is exceeded and you can't do it anymore. Or even how you break certain unique throws with certain characters. Those things are not mentioned.
I wonder if they're going to bring back the interactive weapons that they had in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, like the handgun, the ray guns and stuff like that, and baseball bats and stuff like that? Or do you think that was just a Tekken Tag Tournament 2 exclusive gimmick?
Tekken 7 vanilla, there are baseball bats and axes and stuff.
They have new items and unique items that people can put on just for the silliness factor or for the customization factor. They probably will be doing taunts that they had for certain weapons, and some of them might actually do damage, which I don't have a problem with because they're not that effective unless they're what I use in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is the Ninja Star. It's like when opponents get too far away, because there's no walls, they like to just turtle. So when there's no walls, what I can do is I can throw a ninja star at them and keep them in check, which can, give me some time to run up to them. Now, smart people will know that there's no way they can get hit by the star and by my full tackle. They can actually dodge both, but it keeps them on their toes, and I know that it's possible for them to move out of the way. So it's effective in that right, but it's not effective as a strategy. You know what I'm saying? The weapons are more just for the fun factor, like, hey, I have this item on my character. Hey, I just threw it at you. Oh, that's kind of silly. That's kind of fun. Well, Tekken is a video game. It's supposed to be fun. But as like a useful item for a character is like, hey, I have this giant hammer like Asuka has, and I hit it on the ground. It takes forever to get out, but it stuns you for like a second or two. It's not very useful, but fun to use. In serious gameplay, you might not see that, but it'll be in the game just because Tekken has always had this humor where it doesn't have to take itself so seriously all the time.
Like Armor King fighting you holding a fish. Like
yeah.
Armor King hitting you with
a giant trout. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. But I think because it doesn't take itself so seriously all the time, and they're supposed to appeal to every type of person who might be interested in Tekken. It's like, hey, Tekken is not that serious of a game. We got people hitting each other in the face with fish. So, yeah, try it out. Hey, we got Lucky Chloe, so try it out. Hey, we got a interesting story, so try it out. Hey, we've got mechanics, so buy the game you were already going to buy. That's what I have to say. Anybody have anything to add? Maybe you want to say something to Harada, or just make people aware of something that you wanted to say but never had anybody actually hear you out.
Please.
I want to have characters talk in the game. You talk during the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Soul Calibur?
Yeah. Add some more life to it. You know what I mean? Add some more life to the stages and everything. And actually, Harada to actually take these stages that we've brought up and introduced, actually take them into account and apply them to the game, incorporate them.
Interesting. Arsenalty?
Please, Harada, please put frame data in the practice mode of Tekken, because once you reach a certain level on this game, it's vital to, well, it's not vital, but it's really helpful to start, learning some of the frame data. And it's really annoying that I have to go on some random website and, check the frame data there. But yeah, I'm just begging you, please put it in. But he's I don't think he is, because I think he already stated that he's not going to. It's really annoying because Mortal Kombat and not Street Fighter, but Mortal Kombat have put it in their game.
Okay, London.
All right. All I can say is, Harada, do everything you possibly can to make Tekken 7 better than Tekken 3, and it has more sales than Tekken 3. And just put in June, Raven, and Lei and Armor King in the game. That's all I'm saying. Just make the game better than Tekken 3, and try everything you possibly can. I'm wishing the best in the future.
It needs Eddie though. To be like Tekken 3, better than Tekken 3. You know what I mean?
And all I've got to say is #BuffCapos.
No.
Yep. All right. Once again, this is Synclair, also known as Synclair West. Once again, you can find me on Twitter at Synclair West, SYNCLAIR, no relation to Kanye, and you can find all my content there. Thank you.
My name is Arsenalty, not Arsenality. Okay, guys, please get it right. You can find me all over the place: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. YouTube is the Arsenalty, which is the name. Twitter is at Arsenalty Tekken. Twitch is /Arsenalty. And did I say Facebook? Facebook is /Arsenalty. I probably sound like an idiot because I've got a cold. I'm not really going to be uploading many videos because I've got studying to do. So yeah, that's a quick announcement.
All right, my name is Tekkenismyworld. You can find me at Tekkenismyworld at Twitter, where you can follow me, where I give out my opinions on certain topics, like everything, not just Tekken and sports. And I don't really use Instagram that much, but if you want to follow me, my Instagram is Dragwire1995. And yeah, that's it.
All right, sweet. I thank you guys for coming on and spending this time with me. For Arsenalty, it's like later in the day, so I'm glad you could make it. And sorry you couldn't come on last week, but I thank you for taking the time to come with us, to speak with us, because I haven't actually properly spoken to you before. So this is the first time we've actually had proper conversation, isn't it?
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
First ever podcast. It was great.
Yeah, I think you did just fine. I think London dropped from the call, but I'm about to do my outro anyway. So guys, if you like the video, leave a like. Tell me if you want to be on the show, and I might consider it. You never know, because the show is about people who like Tekken in general. So guys, remember to leave a like. Remember that you cannot kill an idea. See you guys next time. Wow.
Wow.
All right.
Hey guys, what's up? Hashtag we are Tekken. Get ready for the next battle. Duria.
Send your clips to @AwpWilliams on Twitter using hashtag WeAreTekken.